On the heels of the Indiana Fever getting swept out of the WNBA playoffs, and another piece of news um, from the WNBA front, as Caitlin Clark overwhelmingly became the Rookie of the Year. I mean, who was surprised by that? I mean, who did not see that one coming? I mean, they pretty much ordained her as the Rookie of the Year on the night she got drafted #1 overall. So Caitlin Clark got the Rookie of the Year, right? But again, it's not like they didn't already preordain this for her. I mean, she practically won Rookie of the Year the night she got drafted, right? And who was the individual who was out here putting on the cape for Caitlin Clark, right? None other than this big and fat, bloviating buck dancer you know as Jason Whitlock. Now, I got put onto a piece of information, and it's pretty much his calling card. Throw the brother under the bus while protect the other. Or throw the sister under the bus in this case while protecting the other. Because he has so much to say about Angel Reese. Now, what Angel Reese did to him or what she said about him, I don't know. But for whatever inexplicable reason, Angel Reese drew the ire of this gelatinous gargantuan giant on your thumbnail. What's up, Tyler Brown? It just gets under my skin. This guy really gets under my skin. And there's no load that this guy won't stoop to push an agenda. Now, during the exit interview, because I'm gonna talk about this one female reporter that tried to get at Dejanay Carrington, right? And that line of questioning, what she said was some bullshit, right? But don't worry, I'm gonna I'm gonna peel back the onion on that one in another video. But yeah, Jason. Now, what you said was some low down dirty shit. Of all the things you could possibly say, right? This one right here had to be the lowest of the low. So you're going to compare Caitlin Clark to Kuta Kete off the roots. Really, Jason? Really, Jason? In case you missed that, I'm going to repeat that one more time. You're going to compare Caitlin Clark to Kuta Kete off the roots. How could you even possibly correlate two things that have nothing to do with each other together? Only in your alternative universe that you could pull off such feat. Mm-mm-mm. And that just goes to show you that this man is reaching for anything to get people talk about him. But you know what, Jason? You did a good job because I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna talk about you. If nobody else want to entertain your stupid ass, I will. Because what you said was disgusting. It was very unacceptable and it's very disgusting. But that's your MO, right? That's your MO. So, Jason, how does Caitlin Clark compare to Kuta Kente, huh? Where would you even get some stupid shit like that from? Huh? Where would you even get an idea that Caitlin Clark and Kunta Kinte has some to have the same narrative? Are you serious, bro? You serious right now? Look, stop talking sports, stop talking politics, okay? Stop talking sports, all right? Because nobody is using Caitlin Clark to boost their own profile, okay? There's no. You mean to tell me that the list of players that has came before her and the list of players that are currently playing that have made a name for themselves, right? Like an Aja Wilson, who is the best player in the WNBA, and she unanimously won the MVP award. And she's a Columbia, South Carolina native. So I'm gonna read this article, right? And you get an idea, a further idea what I'm talking about. But when it comes to this guy, there's no level of bootlicking and butt kissing and buck dancing. I mean, if you don't know who Jason Whitlock is when it comes to that, then you're just lost, right? You're just lost. Anyway, Jason Whitlock is adding fuel to the simmering racial tensions in the WNBA by equating white superstar Caitlin Clark to an African American slave. Caitlin Clark is Kunta Clark, the sportscaster said, likening the WNBA's Rookie of the Year to the enslaved protagonist of Alex Haley's 1976 bestseller Roots. She's the actual slave that everybody else is exploiting for their benefit. Are you out of your fucking mind? What in the fuck would make you see? That's what I'm talking about. See, that's that bullshit up right there I'm talking about. That's why I always put my foot in his ass anytime he comes out and say some dumb shit. And somehow, with this nonsensical diarrhea of the mouth, that this look, did that beef tallow go to your head to cloud your judgment? Huh? I want to know. You know, all that beef fat from the briskets you be eating, did a lot of that beef tallow go to your head and it's clouding your judgment? That's why you come out and say dumb shit like this? Whitlock's comparison followed a series of attacks on African American players whom he painted as angry black feminists. He specifically called out Chicago Sky rookie Angel Reese and Connecticut Sun forward Alyssa Thomas, both of whom has been very vocal about the racist comments directed at players by fans. But see, they ain't those players aren't those people aren't fans. Those people aren't fans. They're just racist using Caitlin Clark as a prop, like this idiot, to push an agenda. Angel Reese is included at the top of that list, and now Alyssa Thomas is like, let me get my piece, Whitlock said. Whitlock also accuses the Connecticut Sun's Dejanay Carrington of intentionally poking Clark in the eye during a recent game, something that the Indiana Fever Guard has rejected. Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye and injured, black eye. You can still see the black eye, Whitlock said Friday, as quoted by Fox Sports Radio 790. Following the most successful regular season in league history, the ongoing WNBA postseason is at the risk of being overshadowed by controversy. While many Clark supporters have accused the league of conspiring against its biggest star, yeah, because we've had a lot of folks crashing out. Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, this buffoon you see on the thumbnail, yeah, all you motherfuckers is crashing out. A number of players have voiced frustrations about the racist fan abuse, much of which appears to come from Clark supporters. They're not support. Now, Caitlin Clark already came out during the exit interview and denounced this. And she's made it clear that don't use her name to push an agenda. And see, this is the thing. It's people like Jason Whitlock is why a lot of us don't really like Caitlin Clark so much. It's these so-called journalists out here that is asking these kinds of outlandish questions, and they don't even talk about the game. They don't even talk about what happened during the game. It's always about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark could be playing on another team in another city, and somehow during the interview, her name gets brought up. So it's disgusting. Now, Alyssa Thomas said that she's never experienced the racial comments like from the ones from the Indiana Fever fan base. Now, Clark addressed the racist remarks directed at her black colleagues with reporters on Friday, following the Fever's first-round playoff defeat at the hands of the Sun. Clark says it's definitely upsetting. Nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, and the WNBA. Things were bad enough for the WNBA to address the issue in a statement. They said the WNBA is a competitive league with some of the most elite athletes in the world. While we welcome a growing fan base, the WNBA will not tolerate racist, derogatory, or threatening comments made about players, teams, or anyone affiliated with the WNBA. Meanwhile, Fox Sports analyst Nick Wright is insisting that racists use Caitlin Clark's popularity to spread hate towards black WNBA players. This is the one time I actually agree with that Toucan Sam individual. This is the one time I actually agree with him. Boy, Dead Clark is right twice a day. You got this boatload of new fans because Caitlin Clark is box office, but unfortunately and inevitably, and leagues should have seen this train coming down the tracks. On top of that bandwagon were folks who weren't fans of basketball, that weren't even actual fans of Caitlin Clark. And see, that's one of the things I say. That's one of the things I've been saying. A lot of these so-called fans aren't really basketball fans. They're just using Caitlin Clark as a prop to push bullshit agendas like this motherfucker right here. But see, they're mad because when Caitlin Clark was going around doing that Tony Yayo post, yes, it's Tony Yayo, right? Not John Cena. Again, for the people who are challenged in the listening department, right? For the people who can't seem to process information correctly. That pose that Caitlin Clark did belongs to Tony Yayo, not John Cena. So stop fucking using John Cena as the man who did that pose. That pose belonged to Tony Yayo. John Cena himself even admitted that on an episode of The Tonight Show. Now, when Caitlin Clark was doing that Tony Yayo pose, right? Nobody had a problem with it. Oh, she's a fiery competitor. Oh, she's such a leader. She's such an inspiration. But when Angel Reese brought the same energy back to her, oh, she's ghetto. Oh, she's trash. Oh, she's that's conduct of becoming an athlete. Oh, I mean, where's the class in that? Where's the sportsmanship in that? I mean, look at that hood rat. And who's one of the people that was on the front lines when he's not on the front lines of a goddamn Western sizzling? He's at the front lines of attacking Angel Reese. This motherfucker right here, and Jason Whitlock. The preeminent butter biscuit eater in our generation. This man right here, there's no low that this man won't stoop to. So let me get this straight. We've had WNBA players come and go. We have WNBA players in the Hall of Fame. We have WNBA players right now who are excellent in their profession, like A'ja Wilson. So that right there alone debunks the bullshit that this man out here spouting to the public. So you think A'ja Wilson needs Caitlin Clark to boost her profile? Really, Jason? I'm gonna run that back, Jason, right? Because you're a stupid motherfucker. And you just say stuff to hear yourself talk. So again, does A'ja Wilson need Caitlin Clark to boost her profile? Then if that's the case, then how come she was unanimously voted as the WNBA League MVP? But A'ja Wilson needed Caitlin Clark to boost that profile, right? The fuck out of here, dude. Oh my God, man, I can't stand this dude, man. I swear to fucking God, man. Get this stupid Bama off TV. I told you what your career profession should be, Jason Whitlock. I told you in the previous video, but just in case you missed it, I'm going to run it back. You should be a Travel Channel correspondent. You should be going to all the best burger joints out here in America. You should be going to Coney Island on July 4th to either participate or to judge the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. You should take your fat ass down to goddamn old Miami, Florida, and find the best restaurant that serve up the Cuban sandwiches and shit. You should take your ass to Austin, Texas, and do like a 3-4 hour stakeout outside of Franklin's, and then at that point, you can get all the dino ribs, the beef, the pork ribs, the spicy sausages that Jesse Lee Peterson likes, some macaroni and cheese, some cauliflower, whatever, and you can sit there, eat that, and you can have that barbecue seasoning between the cuticles of your fingers, and you can do all the lip smacking or purple pill popping, and you can actually do a rear backflip your hippo ass and talk about how good that food is. Hell, take your ass down to Atlanta and profile the Varsity for us, or the Big Pie in the Sky, or Papa Do's. You can do that. But don't talk politics, right? Because you was way off about Mark Robinson. I see you pretty quiet now. All that porn stuff came out about Mark Robinson, right? Because Mark Robinson out here being a creeper. Mark Robinson, got some, freaky, dicky fetishes about him, right? Yeah, ever since that thing came out about Mark Robinson being a freak elite, your ass is very quiet about that. You said this man was going to become president of the United States in 28. I didn't even mention the other WNBA players that made a name for themselves without having to use Caitlin Clark. So let me ask you something, Jason. Diana Taurasi needed Caitlin Clark? Huh? Did Liz Cambage need Caitlin Clark to boost her profile? Huh? Did Brittany Griner need Caitlin Clark to boost her profile? See, that whole thing sounds stupid when in the stuff of you. I tell you, your dumb ass just to say any motherfucking thing just to get people talking. But the thing about it is, Nobody wants to talk about you. I'll talk about you, right? I'll talk about how dumb you sound. I'll talk about you. I ain't got nothing else better to do, right? I'll talk about you because what you said was completely idiotic. Shout out to the Black Spider for a $5 super sticker. I appreciate it. If you want a master class on how to spit verbal diarrhea of the mouth, look no further than this individual right here. He always comes up with some of the most outlandish takes. Did Maya Moore need Caitlin Clark to boost her profile? Huh? See, when I talk about viruses and the and how viruses need to be eliminated because these viruses will go out here and poison the public with this nonsense. So yeah, anytime somebody come out and say some dumb shit like this, yeah, it's our job to come right behind, come up the rear, and put you on game for free 99. We shouldn't take Jason Whitlock seriously. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other people out there that do. There are a lot of people out there that holds this idiot in high regard. I don't hold this man in high regard. Matter of fact, this guy is lower than camel shit in the desert sands of Saudi Arabia, if you ask me. What's up, RG Titan Mike Lewis? I see everybody in the building, man. Do me a favor, hit that like button, support the channel. Oh damn, that's a crazy play. Sorry, watching the Michigan Minnesota game and Minnesota getting their ass whooped. Hey, why don't you go back to Ball State, huh? Dude, they can use your expertise out there at Ball State. When you're like an offensive lineman out there in Ball State, did Ball State win a game yet? Huh? Would you go back to Ball State and be their head coach or some shit? Instead of going on TV every day eating skinless ballparks and all that, why don't you just go back to your alma mater, Ball State, and become their head coach? Maybe you might take them to the national championship, right? Right? Because in your mind, in your alternative universe, you are the omnipotent. You are the everlasting. You are the alpha and omega of the of our species. In your mind, right? So why don't you go back to Ball State and impart your infinite wisdom onto the masses there, and then after you win your like 5-6 national championships in a row, and then you retire, right? They'll give you a pork chop and a statue, right? Because in your mind, you're legendary. In your mind, you are iconic. In your mind, nobody matches up with you intellectually. But in reality, no one matches up with you at the dinner table. But still, you get the idea, Jason. So again, how does Caitlin Clark, because the people like me here in the real world, right, who don't live in fantasies and shit, right? We want to know, how can you take Caitlin Clark, a real life individual who's playing the game of basketball, and then you're going to take a fictional character and Kunta Kinte and somehow stir this pot and make this out to be something that is not even correlate. So Caitlin Clark is the modern day Kunta Kinte that people are just using her as a prop to boost their own profile, right? They're just exploiting Caitlin Clark for that. No, that's not true. People like you is exploiting Caitlin Clark for your own profile. Get the fuck out of here, man. What's up, David Joseph? What'd you say? Am I the only one who remembers the Houston Comets winning multiple titles? Was Caitlin Clark or Tarlo even born there? Exactly. We were talking about Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Swoops. Caitlin Clark wasn't even a thing. Caitlin Clark was either she was like an embryo or she just barely being born, right? She could barely see her first words. Goo goo gaga, right? So shout out to David Joseph for his super chat donation, man. I'm like this, man. I'm telling you right now, man. There's no low that this motherfucker won't stoop to. Caitlin Clark in her 20s. When the WNBA was like a thing in the late 90s, Caitlin Clark wasn't even born yet. She talking shit. You say what? Okay, let me check. Hold on. Shout out to Black Spider for her donation to Cash App. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Always much love, much appreciation to you. If you want to donate, this is the Cash App. This is the PayPal. Any and all donations are accepted. Appreciated. Once again, thank you to the Black Spider for her donation to Cash App. If you hadn't said that, I wouldn't even known because I turned off my notifications because a lot of times when I be on my phone, anytime a notification comes through, it disrupts the stream. So thank you for letting me know, Black Spider. But yeah. See, when you live in a world of make-believe, and one thing about the internet, it is make-believe, right? You could become anything you want on the internet. If you was a punk bitch, right, in real life, you can go on the internet and then you could be the Nino Brown of the fucking hood. You could be gangster as fuck, talking this Bumpy Johnson, Childish Gambino shit, right? But in reality, you a punk bitch. You know that you can't walk down your street without some motherfucker going upside your head, taking your goddamn money and your Skittles and shit, right? If you a motherfucker that can't get no girls to talk to you at a supermarket, at a library, hell, even at a sports bar, what you do on the internet, you can go online, set up a fake profile, maybe an AI generated image of yourself or some shit, and then you can kick some of the most dopest line game out there and have all these women, just flocking to you like how, chickens flock to a hen house. And if you just happen to be a failed journalist who's been fired from multiple outlets, burned so many bridges to where they can't even rebuild those bridges because he's that toxic, what does he do? He sets up his own podcast. Well, ain't necessarily his podcast. He's not talented enough to do that. He got to go on Glenn Beck's shtick on the Blaze, right? But he got to set up a collaboration with Glenn Beck, and there he get this, be quote unquote liberal, right? And then this thing about you being fearless, you need to stop lying to people, Jason. Stop lying to people about you being fearless because you're not fearless. You is a yellowback chicken shit. Because I remember a time in recent memory where I don't know, my brother Ticket was trying to talk to you about some shit, right, on a certain podcast, and you got up and ran. Maybe you had a pizza delivery that night. Maybe, you might have had a headache and you might have fell asleep. I don't know what the fuck caused you to leave that platform, but you ran. You ran like a little bitch because you couldn't take the heat that was being brought to you. But you fearless though. Yeah, right. In my Dr. Evil voice. No, Jason, you should change your name from Fearless the Spineless. That's the appropriate name for your channel. That should be the appropriate name for your show when you and Shamika Michelle, that other bad witch that be on your goddamn show, Steve Kim. I don't know why you bring Steve Kim on your goddamn platform, and why does he feel the need to speak recklessly without consequences about black folks is beyond me. Oh, and yeah, by the way, Jason, why you keep having Brett Favre on your show, knowing that man is accused of stealing all that money down there in Mississippi, and he want to sit there and use goddamn old Parkinson's disease as a prop, as a distraction, as a shield to keep him away from any kind of punishment and accountability. So yeah, change your goddamn name from Fearless to Spineless, because that's what your goddamn YouTube channel or your show should be renamed. You're not fearless. If anything, you're fearful. But you sitting up here all season long talking shit about Caitlin Clark, talking shit about Adrian Reese, in blind deference to Caitlin Clark. Yeah, Mike Lewis. Hey, you know what? You're right, Mike Lewis. He should get rid of that red dildo he calls a microphone. Tell you, man, this guy really gets under my skin. He really does. He really gets under my skin. There's no look. I think he wear his buck dancery with a badge of honor. He really do. This man really does wear his buck dancery with a badge of honor. So to call him a coon and call him all the other things that that we typically associate with black folks, it does nothing to him. It doesn't phase him. Right? He just, it just rolls off him like water off a duck's back. So we got to find alternative ways to get under this man's skin. Yes, Mike Lewis, he does buck dance for free. He does shuck and jive for free. That's one thing I can, say about Jason Whitlock. He will do that dance for free. Yes, Bowser, I'll go out there and get you a juicy one, Bowser. Oh, that's man, that Michigan quarterback is trash, bro. What's up, Alex Heron? This man is literally so deep down the black hole that he can't come back. For real. Jason Whitlock is so far deep down this black hole, it is extremely hard for him to come back. There's no reprogramming this guy. He is who he is. If this man can find a way to do that Sammy Sosa treatment, because I'm pretty sure he got Sammy Sosa on speed dial. I really do believe that. I really do believe Jason Whitlock is going to find a way to replicate what Sammy Sosa did back in the late 90s when not in the late 90s, in the early 2000s or whatever. Remember, like mid to late 2000s when Sammy Sosa decided to dip himself in that white chocolate and shit. But he one of them so-called black conservatives out there, right? He one of the black conservatives. He's not going to talk about the real issues in the black community because let him tell it. All we talk about is being victims and all that. Nobody talk about being no goddamn victim. But you sitting up there doing all that finger wagging to Andrew Reese. You sitting up there doing all that finger wagging to Deion Sanders. You sitting up the head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes. He's sitting up there doing all this finger wagging to Serena Williams. Any other prominent black athlete that's happened to be excel in their profession, right? He has so much to say about Don Staley. You keep Don Staley name out your mouth, you fat fuck. Yeah, Sammy Sosa's still banned from Wrigley Field. All these people who are better at their job than he is at his, and yet they're the black folks that he is the target of. All the meanwhile, he's going to defend the Caitlin Clarks of the world and put some bullshit agenda, man. Make me sick, man. Tell you, man, look, I'm gonna get out of here, man, because I don't want to have to be repeating the same thing over and over again. The fact of the matter is, if you don't get what this man is all about and how much he's a lying, grifting, self-serving professional bullshit artist who wants his heaping helpers, flicky, honey butter biscuits, then there's nothing else I can tell you that's going to tell you how bad this motherfucker is and how much he was a cancer to society, the stain and the crack in the ass crack of society. Now, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos. Share these videos on your social media platforms. Last but definitely not least, shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Hurry!